my two-sauce baked ziti. Sauce number one is just a bechamel sauce, a straight-up white sauce. You take equal amounts of butter and flour. I've got about 3 tablespoons of butter in the pan. Melt that. When it bubbles, add about the same amount of flour. That's your roux or your thickening agent. And to that, we're going to add a combination of milk and cream, or all whole milk, whichever you prefer. I like a little milk and cream. And you add warm to warm hot liquids to your roux. And for white sauces in my family, we use white pepper. This will thicken up literally immediately for you. A little bit of nutmeg in all things white and all things dark green. And that's done. A little bit of salt in the sauce and over the shoulder for luck. Okay, that sauce is done, so I'm gonna just turn that off. Back here, I've got water boiling for our ziti. Get ziti with limes, ziti rigate. And we're going to add a lot of salt to that water. You're going to parboil this only 5 minutes. You're only half cooking the ziti. And then you're gonna cold shock it in the sink, put it in a colander, drain it, shake it, and run it under cold water to stop the cooking process. So 5-minute pasta there. Over here, I'm sweating out onions in a combination of these 3 things. Sweet Italian sausage with fennel, ground beef or veal, I have ground beef, and some diced pancetta. We are going to use a lot of finely chopped rosemary, and we've sweat out our onions, so now it's time to add our garlic, grated or chopped or thinly sliced, a few fat cloves. It smells amazing. The rosemary, I threw a bay leaf in here, a little salt and pepper, the ground beef, the sweet sausage, the pancetta. Oh. Now we're gonna get up all those little brown bits. All of that color is flavor on the bottom of our pot. So we're gonna lift that up with a fat dose of white wine or red, whichever the cook prefers. Fabulous. Once you get that lifted up from the bottom, you're going to add a fat can of Italian crushed tomato. For the cheese layer, I have some fresh ricotta. We're gonna combine that with eggs, a little grated parm, some diced mozzarella, and a little chopped flat leaf parsley. I'm gonna mix together our cheese layer. When we come back, we'll layer all this together in our casserole dish right after this. Okay, your 5-minute ziti, drain it, throw it back in the hot pot. Then you're going to throw it together with your sauce, right? Your meat sauce with the sausage and the beef and the pancetta, and if you're using it, a little chicken liver. Then you take some of your starchy, salty cooking water that you reserve right before you drain the pasta, mix that all together. Now we're going to take half, approximately, of this and pour it into our big casserole, right? Then we're going to add all of our ricotta, mozzarella, egg, and parsley mixture. Then we're going to top that with the rest of our meat sauce layer. And then you top it with the bechamel. I told you. And this is a heck of a lot easier than layering a lasagna, I'll tell you that. And then you finish it with a little Parmigiano. I'm gonna throw this in the oven. When we come back, I'll show you what it looks like when it's all cooked up. So, everybody here got a lasagna lugger earlier in the show, so they could lug this two-sauce baked ziti around any place they'd like as well. So basically, it's just bechamel and a meat sauce married together with a layer of ricotta and mozzarella cheese in the middle. Honestly, people love this, and it's just as hearty and a lot easier to serve and travel with.